All right, you're welcome along to Golf Weekly, a little bonus episode for you today because I'm delighted to be joined by one of our hottest prospects. Lauren Walsh is on the line. How are you keeping, Lauren?
All good, yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Where in the world are you?
I'm actually in Ireland.
Wow.
Not very often I get home, but yeah, I'm actually at home this week.
A real rarity, I'd imagine. Do you take a week off when you're back and fully chill out? Or is it actually, I'm close to home, I'm close to coaches, this is a work week, but just based in your own home house?
Definitely a bit of both, after, I've been away for a month or so now. So definitely taking some downtime to chill out. But, also it is nice to get out to see my coach Shane when I can, when I'm home. So a bit of both. But it's always nice when you're back home, sleeping in your own bed.
No doubt you would prefer not to be talking to us right now. You'd much prefer to be over in Erin Hills at the US Open.
I know. Just missed out on the qualifier a couple of weeks ago, but I've seen a bunch of stuff on social media. It looks great, so it should be a great week over there.
So you got through the pre-qualifier. It was just the final qualifying.
It was there was a final qualifying in Milan. So I got to go in the second round. Thought I might have a chance at kind of first alternate, but just missed the alternate playoff by one. So it was a fun day. It's one of those kind of shootouts and see what happens. But maybe next year.
And plenty of reason to go into US Open qualifying with a lot of confidence of making that next step, because things have been going really well this year. 6 top tens.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been great so far. I learned a lot from my rookie year last year. Have brought a lot of those lessons onto this year. It's been nice to go back to some familiar places and kind of keep that momentum going. I've really enjoyed it, and I think that's been a big part of doing well out there.
What are the main differences, say, if we'd spoken to you this time 12 months ago in terms of the difficulties of a full rookie season on tour to, being the old head in your second season, and a lot of rookies coming in, a lot of Irish rookies, they're looking to you for advice. What are you telling them?
It's just like little things about kind of managing, the full-time travel schedule that we have. A lot of us were booking our own travel, our own flights, accommodation, stuff like that. So you get to learn little bits on, making sure you're staying in the right place and, you're flying to, making the most of your schedule. So, just honestly, even living on the road for a couple of weeks in a row, there's, stuff you can bring from home to make all that a little bit easier. And, just little bits like that I think I'm still figuring it out. But helping the girls out where I can.
Yeah. God, what an advantage for them to have you so fresh from that experience and to be able to relate, because it's become such a difficulty. There haven't been a huge amount of players out on tour over the last few years on the women's side or on the men's side, and there's always been a great tradition of passing on the knowledge through the generations, because it can be a lonely enough old place.
Yeah, I've loved having their company out this year, whether it's the odd practice round we get to play together or, just going out for dinner in the evenings, shared Airbnbs. It's been great having more Irish company out there. I think we're all, reaping the rewards of that and all enjoying each other's company, which is always good. Hopefully, I'm sure there's more girls kind of up and coming that will be turning pro in the next year or so as well. So the more the merrier. And I think we're all having a good time.
And are you forcing everybody to come out for dinner a la Padraig Harrington back in the day? In fact, I think maybe Harrington forced all of you out for dinner earlier in the year.
Yeah, I was unfortunately sick. There was a week that I missed dinner with Padraig, but to be honest, most of the weeks we end up kind of staying nearby or staying even together in the same place. So I don't think anybody's forcing anybody to go out for dinner, but I think it's just we enjoy each other's company. Yeah. But we'll see.
I think the way Harrington tells it back in the day, they were Des Smith might come up to their hotel room and almost grab them by the ear and say, no matter whether you shot a good round or a bad round, you're coming down and you're having the chat for the evening. But it is, as I say, it can be such a lonely world, and you can get into your own thoughts very quickly and end up ordering room service and not see somebody for a couple of days and overthinking things that you'd have to think that there'd be a massive benefit to you all over the next few years of having that camaraderie on tour.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, we've all done well so far this year. We've all had our weeks that, things have gone really well. And I think we'd all say that it's definitely helped having each other out there, whether it's just someone to go chip with on the chipping green, or, just to have a rant to on the range or at dinner or whatever it is, even a wave across the fairway when we're out on the golf course. So, it's been great. It's like our own little team out there. And I know a lot of the other countries have had that for a while. And I guess I missed out on that a little bit last year, but it's certainly great to have it this year.
And in terms of on the course then, and your comfort levels, and I think you're 11th in the season-long standings at the moment. Like, you come across and you come back home with a big reputation after a real stellar college career at Wake Forest, and there's a level of expectation, but then you're now a professional golfer, and as you say, you're having to book your own flights, and you're maybe not staying in the nicest hotel that you once were when college was looking after everything, and you're having to get yourself up in the morning and make sure you have a good early night, and what professionalism is. Has that come easy to you?
Yeah, I think my personality is well suited to tour life. I am very organized, and I've been very self-driven since I was a little baby, I'd say. My parents would attest to. So
right.
I think definitely the tour life does kind of suit me. I am kind of, as I said, organized. I don't mind kind of taking care of my own travel and bits like that. I kind of, if I know what I'm doing, I can manage that. So so far no complaints from me on that end. But it's been good.
Self-driven from a very young age. You sort of said that with a little laugh if we were to talk to your parents. Go on, describe a young Lauren Walsh then.
I guess, well, I didn't take up golf till maybe a little later. I didn't take up golf till I was probably about 11, but grew up playing camogie and Gaelic football, and was always driven in that sense, and was always getting stuck in, and always had that competitive side to me as well. Right. I had an older sister, so anything she could do, I wanted to do better. So I've always been competitive and always been driven like that. So that's just who I am.
Is she any good at golf?
Yeah, she plays off scratch herself. So she would have played over here in Maynooth for 4 years. So she's a teacher now, so doesn't play quite as much anymore. But definitely a big part of me getting involved in the game, and motivating me to get better as I was up and coming as a junior.
Exactly. You got to start with the one aim, which is just to be better than her and see where it takes you.
Exactly. And here I am.
Exactly. Things are working out. Things are working out just fine. So, in terms of your season and sort of aims and goals, a lot of golfers will say that first flight of the year, they'll sit down and they'll get the notepad out, and there'll be a list of 7 or 8 goals, and it may not be win a tournament. It might be a low stroke average, because if you get down to that level, suddenly the tournament wins will come with it. What were you thinking about for 2025?
For me, I probably, not necessarily the scoring stuff. Me and my coach Shane look at, how I want to handle like my golf swing throughout the year, or, how I handle myself in those kind of situations, making sure I'm practicing the right way and preparing the right way, and, now like making sure I'm taking some time off away from the game to make sure all of that kind of falls into place. So, obviously a big goal for me is, getting a win on the LET. That's always big. But yeah, I think I kind of try and just look at what I can control and take care of, and ultimately that will take care of good results and hopefully a win along the way. So definitely more like kind of process driven, and just kind of looking at, what I can do. So
The taking time off, I know, is an issue that a lot of, not just golfers, individual sports people have. And with Connor Purcell in here in studio a few months ago, and he was talking about his progress over the last years and taking that next step, and maybe even that break during COVID making him realise that this wasn't life or death golf, that actually he needed to find some bit of balance, that it would ultimately make him a better golfer. Have you been always good at that balance side of it, of taking a bit of time off, of having other interests, or have you, since golf became a focus, has it been the sole focus?
I think what was really nice about, obviously I spent 4 years in college at Wake Forest, as you mentioned. And, when you're kind of up and coming through college, you're keeping busy, like keeping on top of the assignments and your degree, and like you're living with, your friends and stuff like that. So it's always kind of good to strike a balance there. And I guess it's one of the things since turning pro I've had to, kind of figure out, because obviously now I can dedicate so much more time to golf. But, I've probably now over the last year try to figure out that balance of, all the time doesn't have to go towards golf. I get to travel to these very cool places, so taking some time away and enjoying those experiences, and visiting different places as I travel with golf, has been really cool to kind of figure out over the last year, and definitely led to a lot of enjoyment over the last couple of months.
Your coach Shane, a lot of people who are listening will know, is also Leona Maguire's coach, so there's a strong connection there, and he will have been able to have seen up close the stresses and the strains of starting out. And she, went the similar route, went through college, took her time, was patient when there was a lot of pressure on through those formative years to turn pro early. How much have you been able to lean on him on that side? As much as there's a technical part to it, how important has he been just on the overall being a professional golfer from what he's seen that's worked for Leona?
I think there's elements of it that I'm sure he's passed on, but I think to his credit, he treats all of his students as like individuals, and we're all gonna work on different things along the way. So he himself has had experience like personally with it, so that's been helpful. But again, all of our journeys are unique, so
the last thing you need to be coming in is every day and going, do you know what Leona does?
Yeah, no, he definitely doesn't do that. But it's been nice. He's always been a big part of my support system, and has been brilliant for the last number of years. So we're all on our own journeys, and I'm enjoying my time out on the LET.
And look, Leona's obviously a big part of the reason that we are seeing so many players coming through at the moment, and hopefully more over the coming years. There's also a lot of work been done in the background, I know, through Golf Ireland, and even over the last few years when it's been a bit of a struggle on the men's side, talking to people around Golf Ireland, it's go, you just wait and see what's coming on the women's side of things, that there's so much talent about to burst through. What relationship have you had with Golf Ireland through the years? I know you went away to college and all of that, but how helpful was that, the processes that they have in place?
Yeah, I think the professional scheme that they have going now is like super, it's very encouraging for all of us, to get that, financial support from them. And so that's been obviously really helpful for all of us up and coming on tour. And, that support's been great. And I think, the group of us out on tour now, we grew up playing together at home internationals and at European championships. So I think the group now, we've had such a bond over the years. We've grown up since we were, 12, 13, 14, competing at junior events, competing then, internationally, representing Ireland, and, now we're living the dream out on tour. So I think it's been a really nice development for that group. And it just goes to show when you do get a group of girls, interested in it, and, we keep that going, we keep pushing each other, and it's now great to see us all out on tour.
I don't know if you've had these conversations with players from other countries, but that professional scheme that you have, like from talking to some of the other players out on tour, it feels like it's massively important, because when you do come out of college, there is an almost cliff edge of, okay, this is your livelihood now, and it's difficult to get sponsors at the moment. Like, I'm sure you're fortunate with the sponsors that you have, but like, it's not as if there's a million companies out there just throwing money at everybody. So having that backstop of, okay, here's something that I can concentrate a bit more on my golf and not be stressing every day of the week about how I'm earning a living. Is that something that's commonplace around Europe, or is that something here in Ireland that we're actually maybe a step ahead with?
Yeah, I think it's a huge thing that Ireland are doing. I know some countries have similar programs, some definitely don't. So I feel very fortunate that I do have that backing from Sport Ireland and Golf Ireland, and honestly, it's great for all of us just starting out our careers. There is a bit of comfort in knowing that, you can tee it up a couple of weeks in a row and you don't have to worry about that, that is definitely big, and very, very grateful for the support from them.
Am I right in saying that bit of it, being able to plan a few weeks in a row, is very important for you, that you're somebody who likes that level of organisation, the life on the road, and getting the call on the Monday saying you're in and having to get there by Tuesday may not suit you?
Yeah, to be fair, I did that last year. There was a couple of times that you just have to jump at opportunities, and one of the things my college coach taught us really well was adaptability and adapting to whatever comes up. And still to this day, I use that. So yeah, shout out to my college coach Kim. She always always encouraged us to be adaptable. So that's super important in what I do now. Things change so quickly, schedules can change, and you do have to just jump on that flight tomorrow if it means playing the event this week. So it's a big part of the job.
Fair to say that while it's called the Ladies European Tour, this is a tour that gives you an opportunity to see the world. Like, we're only heading towards the end of May, and it feels like you've covered pretty much everybody, everywhere.
I know,
so
we've
far.
almost hit every continent, yeah.
Yeah. So the air miles are good right now. But you're coming back home soon in just, 4 or 5 weeks' time it is at this stage. So the KPMG Women's Irish Open is going to be taking place once again at Carton House. It's on from Thursday, July 3rd until the Sunday, July 6th. You can get tickets if you get onto KPMG Women's Irish Open.ie. It's a home tournament, but for you, it's very much a home tournament. What? You grew up a couple of miles down the road?
Yeah, I'm only half an hour away. So, really nice to be playing in Kildare, and so close to home. I have a lot of family and friends, around to be able to come out and support. So, very special to play so close to home.
I know from talking to Irish players who've played Irish Opens through the years that sometimes it takes them a while to get used to it, that while they love it and they sort of build it up in their own head, then it comes to the week and it's a totally different experience to the other 12 months because there's so much more pressure on your time. You're getting the texts on the Tuesday, Wednesday night from people going, any chance of a ticket, or any chance of getting me into the hospitality suite, and everybody wants to talk to you, everybody wants to stop. People you played golf with 20 years ago want to have a quick word. That it's just a very different week to anything else. Where are you on that after last year of ensuring that your head is in the right space to perform well, which, like, it's a big week in the Ladies European Tour calendar, while also actually looking around and embracing the support that's there?
Yeah, obviously, it's a tricky balance to find. It was amazing to see so many fans, and all the Irish supporters out last year was really, really amazing. So, that type of environment's always really nice. It's nice to know when you're out on the course, you have that backing from everybody around you. So I think that's a really cool thing to be able to look forward to. Obviously there is some other stuff that you kind of have to balance and make sure you figure it out. But I think, obviously the priority has to stay on your prep and your preparation, trying to keep things as normal as possible. So yeah, I'll still be kind of getting my reps in on the putting green and, making sure I get my, 9 holes in here or there, kind of the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And after that, once I see the crowds out there, it's honestly it's a very nice feeling for me knowing that they're all kind of there to support. So it is, I do look forward to playing in front of home crowds.
And it's great that it's getting back to where it was because, I remember so well Killeen Castle and the build-up to the Solheim Cup and the star-studded fields that were there and how important that was for the growth of the game. And then we went through a really barren spell, and even not that long ago, you're going, well, Leona will be there. And you're hoping maybe that Stephanie Meadow might make the trip across if the schedule suits her, and that will be it. And then it might be a couple of invites for a couple of amateurs, whereas now we're going in actually with not just Leona, but a strong, really strong hand of Irish talent and potentially, a home winner.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the strongest field, at a women's event in Ireland since, as you mentioned, Killeen. So it's really, really cool. I remember going to Killeen Castle when I was a kid, and I was so inspired by seeing all these girls play. So I hope it's the same for young girls and boys who get to come out and watch, and hopefully they can be inspired by some of the stuff they see. And I know the tournament is ran so well, and there's so much going on for spectators at the event that it is hopefully really encouraging for young kids to get involved and hopefully take up the game and continue this trend in Irish golf. Yeah,
because it is a stacked field this time. So Georgia Hall, who's a major winner, is going to be there. Annabelle Dimmock, who's the defending champion. Lottie Woad, Madeline Sagstrom, who's won on the LPGA. The Solheim Cup captain is going to be there. Anna Nordquist, are you going to be making some arrangements in the background of a nice little practice round or something like that and start getting some ideas in her head ahead of next year?
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's really cool to have such a strong field. As you mentioned, you've LPGA winners, major winners. A lot of LPGA girls coming over to play, and I think that's just a testament to how great the event is, and the things to come. It'll be a very special week, and yeah, I think everybody's just so excited to get there soon.
So what's the plan then, say, post Irish Open? Because I know, talking to Sarah Byrne a few weeks ago, she obviously had access to the secondary tour and the LPGA and was trying to get that balance, because the LPGA would be the ultimate destination and the pathway there might be a little bit more straightforward. Is the ultimate plan to get back over to America again?
Yeah, I guess nobody knows what the future holds, but obviously I have aspirations of playing on the LPGA. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. It's hard with golf to look too far ahead. I'm enjoying my time on the LET, and post Irish Open, there's a couple of majors in the summer, and some good tournaments in Scotland and London that I'll definitely be playing. So yeah, we'll kind of see how the next couple of weeks go, and then at the end of the year we'll reassess again where we are. But yeah, I've learned now to kind of just take it week by week, and just keep control of what I can control, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, listen, the very best of luck. I'm sure we get a chance to catch up down at Carton House between the 3rd and 6th of July for that KPMG Women's Irish Open, and the very best of luck in the weeks before them. A few more top tens, maybe even a win between now and the Irish Open, and we can fully lose the run of ourselves in terms of the hype.
That would be nice, right?
Absolutely. Lauren, very best of luck. Thanks for taking the time out.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks for having me on.